The Haasan Reddick deal, the reporting on it came yesterday morning late, and I was on the air on WIP with Glenn McNow at the time. I didn't know it was going to come yesterday. You knew at some point it was coming. You knew that Haasan Reddick had to redo his deal from both his own perspective. He's woefully underpaid after the season he had last year. And from the Eagles' perspective, because they do the deals the way they do the deals with voidable years and the like. So he is the number one cap hit coming into the season as of right now at $21 million. And they don't want that cap hit, which means they've got to redo the deal and push more money down the road into the future. I guess Haasan got the party started early, and he and his agent have been negotiating with the Eagles, and they have not made good progress. So the Eagles had to say, yeah, if you want to go out and see what's on the market for you and you want to check into a trade market, it's Howie Roseman letting Haasan Reddick's agent do his job, as a matter of fact. Um, it's not a good indication of him staying here. It doesn't slam the door on him being here. There is still certainly the chance that they can work out a contract. Sometimes a guy goes out and finds out the market isn't what he and his agent are portraying it to be. It's not good, Johnny Mac. This is not. It's more bad than good, I guess, is the way I would state it at this point. How about you?
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it's not great from the perspective if you want Haasan back and if you want a deal worked out, you want everything to be easy and amicable. But they've been through this before. They went through it with Darius Slade last year. They told him, you know what, go look around and see what you're about. Now, a little bit different because Slay is much older, much longer into his career. Reddick is will turn 30, I believe, in September. Um, so it's kind of complicated. The Eagles are basically saying, all right, you think we're lowballing you? Go look to see if we're lowballing you. And I don't think the Eagles are lowballing them. So I think it's one of those situations where when Haasan and his representatives from CAA look around and they say, well, you know what? There's some other edge rushers out there, and you might get pushed down a little bit, and you're going to turn 30. And I think the hope from the Eagles standpoint is they'll see we're not being unreasonable. And they'll come back and they'll work out an extension. I think that's the hope. But you pointed out, I'm glad you pointed out, even from the Eagles' perspective, obviously Haasan has outperformed his contract. And, you know, if you all go all the way back to training camp last year, we joked the situation. People were talking about the situation. There were a couple players holding in last year because of the changes, holding in because you get fined so much. So you basically show up to camp and you pretend you're injured and you try to work out a deal behind the scenes. Daniil Hunter was one of those who's one of those pass rushers we're talking about, who had a much bigger year, is probably in line to make much more money on the free agent market. So that's somebody Haasan's got to deal with. He held in last year. So he showed up to camp with a groin injury. And a lot of people were speculating, well, he's trying to get more money because he vastly coming off 2022 and the run to the Super Bowl vastly outperformed his contract. He had 19 and a half sacks in 19 games. I mean, he was a dominant player in the Eagles' run to the Super Bowl. Turns out he really had a groin injury, and he showed his professionalism, and he came in, I think was the third practice, and he continued to practice. And then he broke his thumb, if you remember, in those first, I don't know, 3 games maybe. He was playing with the cast and he wasn't effective. And then he turned it on. And he's had double digit sacks in 4 consecutive seasons. He's been a really productive player. And he's never been paid like a top of the line edge rusher. And he's been a top of the line edge rusher. So I get the frustration from his standpoint. Boy, last year was probably the moment to try to seize it. He should have held in, is what I'm trying to say. He should have, coming off that season. Now coming off this season, he was good, but he had the broken thumb. You know, he struggled down the stretch like the whole team did with the ship to Matt Patricia, like the whole defense did. and now he doesn't have as much leverage. That's why I never blame players, man. You got to seize the moment, because the moment, if you don't seize the moment could be gone pretty quickly. But I don't think the Eagles are being unreasonable, and I think Haasan will see that, and we'll see what happens from there. But the Eagles aren't going to trade him unless they get major compensation and major salary cap relief. So it's going to be difficult.
I know. Well, the salary cap relief is what it is. They're going to take a hit. They can wait till after June 1st, can use a June 1st designation so as to break it up over 2 years. There'd be less this year and more the year after. So it's either you do it and you take the hit, or you don't do it because you think the hit's too much. But the compensation part, what do you think they get for Haasan Reddick, turning 30, one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League, but the new team is going to have to pay him $24, $25, $26 million. You think they're getting a one for Haasan Reddick?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So then,
not especially at that number. I don't think he's getting that, though. And that's, I think, the Eagles' hope, is that he goes out there much like Slay did, and the numbers are 18, 19, much more manageable than that. And they work out some kind of an extension where Howie and Jake Rosenberg can, start over, add years, put on voidable years, and make the cap number much more manageable. I think that's the long-term goal and the long-term hope. I don't think this is by any estimation that the Eagles have said, all right, we're going to trade Haasan Reddick.
No.
They just don't want an angry player in the building who they think, who thinks they're being unfair. They want him to go see what the market is.
Which sometimes you end up getting a deal done like they did with Slay, and sometimes you're basically thrown up against the wall and you have to move on from a player you don't want to move on from because, you misread the market, and there was a team that was willing to go to upwards of 23, 24 million per year. It's going to play itself out. We will have to see, but it puts the Eagles, kind of moves Howie's season up, getting underway a little quicker than maybe Howie Roseman wanted. It is always Birds 365 season here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. And again, I noted this last week, show number 700. This is our 700 Birds 365. Just happens to fall on the day after the Super Bowl. We'll talk about both the Eagles and the Bowl with our buddy Jeff Kerr, our Monday morning staple. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, up next here on Birds 365.